Testimony of covenant marriage. The Christian marriage relationship is a covenant before God. Marriage is made up of two people who have no blood relation and come from different family and cultural backgrounds, each bringing their own marital culture and lifestyle to some extent. The significance of marriage far exceeds blood relations, as blood relations only provide a sense of belonging to the marriage. God's goal is to build a relationship with humanity. The establishment of the covenant relationship is based on the relationship between God and man. The loved one receives unconditional love, a love that does not originate from human relationships. Due to the fall and sin, human relationships have been polluted by sin, which introduces more conditions into them. God's love is perfect, and in the foundation of faith within marriage, covenant love is unconditional between husband and wife. Otherwise, marriage will be influenced and disturbed by society and the world, leading to many disharmonious factors in the marriage. Human sinfulness itself can become the reason for destroying the love in marriage. It is difficult to sustain love simply through blood relations. The significance of marriage lies in covenant love, the unconditional covenant love God originally gave humanity, in which husband and wife accept, tolerate, bear with, and forgive each other. In a faith-based marriage, the covenant relationship God gives to humans is the most fundamental element. The covenant established between God and Israel has become the key focus for family development. If the covenant relationship is not realized in marriage, relationships between people will face great challenges. Marriage fully reflects the relationship between God and humanity. The Christian concept of marriage is completely opposite to the secular one. In a Christian home, Christ is the head of the household, and Christ reigns in the marriage. The relationship with God guides family life. Marriage is also where God implements His salvation plan. A faith-based marriage must involve God's work, and it must welcome God into the marriage. The family is where God carries out His plan and purpose of salvation. The brief enjoyment of comfort and peace experienced by the first couple in the Garden of Eden quickly turned into bitterness and trials. What was once pure, safe, and effortless love now requires commitment, forgiveness, and effort to sustain. Fallen creatures are fundamentally incapable of having a good relationship with God or with others. Human marriage has no ability to escape sin and the curse on its own. The most direct step in understanding marriage is to rely on the grace of the Lord and live out one's faith. Acceptance is important in the relationship between husband and wife, as all of our relationships require acceptance, with God, with others, and with ourselves. In the Christian concept of marriage, the first consideration is resolving the issues of sin and the fall. Relying on human-made rules and marriage contracts does not bring happiness to marriage. In marriages based on human law, family members demand perfection from one another, resulting in strict rules and restrictions to regulate marital relationships. In such circumstances, failures and awkwardness among family members are inevitable, leading to growing rifts and the loss of harmony in relationships. Marriage is made up of two sinners. If sinners do not return to faith and rely on the blood of Christ to be made righteous, they will continue to live in sin. When a person believes they're good on their own, we call that self-righteousness. Conversely, self-righteous people hope to be justified by their own efforts. However, those who receive the righteousness of God receive it as a gift from God. Entering married life brings significant changes for a couple. Compared to their parents, the spouse becomes the most important person in one's life on earth, and thus the relationship with one's spouse should take priority. Leaving one's parents and becoming one with their spouse is ordained by God. In a marriage based on covenant and surrounded by an atmosphere of grace, family members are empowered to communicate fully, express themselves, and intimately know and be known by each other. Both husband and wife should strive together to listen, understand, and act in the best interest of the other. Affirming each other not only involves accepting differences, but also valuing and respecting each other's unique qualities. Once a man and a woman are united, they form a new marriage, and the husband and wife step into the roles God has prepared for them. They must fulfill the mission and responsibilities given by God, following the example of Jesus Christ's love within their own family. Marriage is beautiful and is meant to accomplish a great responsibility and purpose, helping each other become the glorious new creation that God is shaping us to be. Marriage is the building of a loving and beautiful relationship between two people. Since a husband and wife come from different families and have different backgrounds and life experiences, differences in values are inevitable. However, with the shared foundation of faith, other secondary value differences are not as difficult to compromise on. Only a family that truly places Christ at the center can experience true equality. In marriage, there are two states, one that follows the world and another that follows God. With the end of the wedding ceremony, the marriage relationship officially begins, and intimacy starts to build. If, however, one spouse continues to live selfishly, the marriage can only be seen as a married bachelor. A Christian family is a spiritual family that belongs to Christ. Such a family requires better harmony and mutual love, with spouses practicing empathetic listening, standing in the other's shoes. This does not mean agreeing with everything the other person says, but respecting them and their views. If you can do this and engage in gentle conversation, the other person is more likely to show kindness and respect your thoughts as well. The Bible provides rich teachings and guidance on the origin, purpose, meaning, and mission of marriage. Examining one's marriage and studying the importance of marriage within the truth will lead Christians facing marital issues to receive God's blessings. Building a marriage relationship is a joint effort. When dealing with marriage issues, couples should commit to consulting each other before making any major decisions. Harmony in marriage is the integration of two perspectives in a lifelong relationship. When couples face disagreements, being able to resolve them amicably is a highlight of marriage. Due to differences in personality, lifestyle, and perspectives on issues, men and women may approach problems from different angles. This makes it even more necessary for couples to recognize the need to submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Marriage is no longer about an individual but about the feelings and experiences of both people. When problems arise in marriage, if the couple can identify the root cause and categorize the difficulties, they will be able to approach issues from different perspectives, taking a significant step toward resolving marital problems. The primary purpose of Christian marriage is to glorify God's name and to please Him. Setting any other goal as the main purpose of marriage may result in focusing only on oneself and neglecting the needs and feelings of the other spouse. In daily life, cognitive, behavioral, and emotional factors are closely linked within the marriage relationship. When couples change their behavior, it can affect their thoughts and emotions. Similarly, when they change their understanding of certain things, it will lead to changes in their behavior and emotions. The devil's attack on Christian marriage. The devil's target is all of humanity, and Christian marriages must also guard against his attacks. Outward displays of piety mean nothing without the fruit of genuine godliness in everyday life. Marriage is a lifelong commitment, yet some people step out midway due to various conflicts and reasons. They often neglect that Christian marriage is founded on God's principles. In reality, the devil doesn't need to use advanced tricks or disasters to ruin a Christian marriage. All he needs to do is make the couple abandon their responsibilities before God, evade their God-given duties, and throw the relationships and order into chaos. Such a marriage will self-destruct due to selfishness. In many ways, marriage is like becoming a Christian. Once someone becomes a Christian, they leave behind their former way of life, no longer trusting in their own righteousness or seeking to save themselves, but turning to Christ, who died for sinners. This turning to Christ signifies that one has entrusted their life to Him. Marriage is beautiful, and through mutual love, couples enter into a new life and relationship, leaving behind their previous families and beginning a new life together. God-ordained marriage requires complete and irrevocable commitment from both spouses. A marriage that pleases God is one where both partners understand that they must face difficulties, avoid sin, seek God's help through discussion, and work together to solve problems. It's not about nitpicking the trivial details of life. Spouses are meant to belong to each other for a lifetime, united as one. In marriage, your spouse should take priority over your family of origin. Couples need to carefully evaluate their relationships with their parents, ensuring they let go of anything that hinders their marriage. Life is full of frustrations and arguments, with endless responsibilities and challenges to face every day. Things like daily chores, finances, and children often become excuses for quarrels. However, in this world, the one person who will accompany you through old age is your spouse. Therefore, it is crucial to realign your priorities and place your spouse first in your life. Christian marriages and families must begin with both husband and wife trusting in God together and building a life centered on love. Unconditional love removes defensive attitudes. When both spouses no longer feel the need to protect themselves, build barriers, or attack with criticism, they are free to love each other deeply. The lasting love in marriage must be received through Christ, and broken marriages can only be fully restored through Jesus Christ. Most people enter marriage with beautiful dreams, hoping to find a partner to share all of life's experiences. However, dreams often differ from reality. Refusing to give up unrealistic expectations can lead to constant frustration and difficulty in overcoming life's trials. Christian marriage is a covenant relationship before God. Although the spouses come from different family and cultural backgrounds, and despite not being blood-related, their shared faith forms the foundation of their marriage. Their family bond is built on love and strengthened by the principles and teachings of their faith, which helps establish their marriage within the covenant set by God. Language is the best tool for human communication. Proverbs 25 verse 11 says, "Timely advice is lovely, like golden apples in a silver basket." In marriage, the art of speaking is often neglected. We tend to be polite and considerate with strangers, but with those closest to us, we speak without restraint. Words of concern can easily turn into complaints and criticism. The happiness of a family starts with speaking kindly. The power of words is immeasurable. James 3 verse 6 says, "And among all the parts of the body, the tongue is a flame of fire." It is a whole world of wickedness, corrupting your entire body. It can set your whole life on fire, for it is set on fire by hell itself. Speaking well to your spouse is a daily lesson. Words can bring strength or cause harm, and their impact should never be underestimated. The unity of marriage, husbands and wives are one body, sharing both joy and sorrow. Ultimately, everything is faced together. With the wisdom from the Lord, they respect, cherish, endure, honor, and love one another. This is the way of marriage for those who fear God. The marriage relationship is an intimate and exclusive bond, where the love between spouses should not be interfered with by outsiders. Husbands and wives rarely have the same personalities, especially as time passes. As they live together, both their strengths and weaknesses become apparent, and friction is inevitable. Different families face different challenges, and a family without conflict does not mean there are no problems, it means there is a high level of tolerance. Most complaints in daily life stem from dissatisfaction with the other person. As no one is perfect, even individuals themselves feel imperfect, let alone a couple coming from two different families. In the early days of love, only the beauty of the other is seen, and flaws are easily overlooked. As life goes on, if those flaws can still be overlooked, that is true tolerance and patience. Luke 6 verse 42 says, "How can you think of saying, 'Friend, let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye,' when you can't see past the log in your own eye? Hypocrite! First get rid of the log in your own eye, then you will see well enough to deal with the speck in your friend's eye." The process of removing the plank from one's own eye may bring blessings and joy to many Christian families. No one can claim to be perfect before Christ, and no family is flawless. No couple is without faults. Complaints can be sharp weapons that wound the other person, and they easily provoke anger. The atmosphere of family life is shaped by living out faith. With the help of the Holy Spirit, through prayer and the teachings of the Bible, the heart is governed by the Lord's word, and what comes from the mouth are words that build up others. Additionally, no Christian husband or wife would want to invite God's curse and anger by falling into the sin of adultery. Hebrews 13 verse 4 says, "Give honor to marriage, and remain faithful to one another in marriage." God will surely judge people who are immoral and those who commit adultery. Christian marriages must recognize that sexual immorality is detestable to God. No one should trample upon the blood of Jesus Christ for selfish desires, nor should they allow issues like infidelity or improper sexual relationships to become stumbling blocks to lifelong happiness and grace. Family happiness is something everyone seeks, especially in Christian families. When families live in harmony, the household of God flourishes as well. Every Christian should strive to build a happy, Christ-centered home, making their family a shining lampstand, showing others that theirs is a home led by Christ, a home that pleases God. Matthew 18:20 Lord says, "For where 2 or 3 gather together as my followers, I am there among them." This shows that unity is the core of receiving blessings from God in marriage. It is only with such unity that couples can bear better witness to Christ and bring glory to Him. The testimony of a Christian marriage, like a shining lampstand, not only illuminates one's own household but also brings light to the world.